There's something comforting about the night. No messages to reply to, no noise, no pressure, just you and your thoughts. You tell yourself you'll go to bed soon, but then another idea pops up, another video, another scroll, and before you know it, the clock reads 3 a.m. Why do some people always stay up late, no matter how many times they promise they won't? The answer isn't just about bad habits or too much caffeine. It runs deeper, into your psychology, your brain chemistry, and even your evolutionary past. This is what really happens inside the night owl mind. Every human has a built-in clock, your circadian rhythm, a biological system that runs on roughly a 24-hour cycle. It tells your body when to wake up, eat, focus, and sleep. At the center of this rhythm is a small part of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, located deep in the hypothalamus. It uses signals from light, specifically sunlight, to synchronize your body with the outside world. But here's where it gets interesting. Not everyone's clock ticks at the same pace. For some people, this internal rhythm runs a bit slower, meaning their body naturally wants to fall asleep and wake up later. This is known as a delayed sleep phase. When the sun goes down, most people's brains start releasing melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to rest. But in night owls, that release doesn't start until much later, sometimes hours later. So when everyone else starts to wind down, the night owl's brain is just starting to come alive. Inside the night owl's brain, a few key chemicals play tug of war. Melatonin tries to slow things down. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter of motivation and curiosity, keeps firing. Glutamate, linked to alertness and learning, stays active longer. This means their prefrontal cortex, the part that handles planning and rational decision-making, stays alert well past midnight. And as the world quiets, the default mode network, the system involved in imagination, memory, and introspection, lights up like a constellation. That's why people often say they feel most creative at night. The brain, freed from the day's noise and social distractions, finally gets to wander. Ideas flow, memories resurface, connections form. The night brain doesn't just think, it feels. But let's move from biology to psychology. For many people, staying up late isn't just about how the brain works. It's about how life feels. During the day, your time belongs to everyone else. Your job, school, responsibilities, people who need you. But at night, the world stops asking things from you. That quiet becomes a form of freedom. And sometimes, that freedom feels addictive. Psychologists call this revenge bedtime procrastination. It's when people sacrifice sleep to regain control over their time. It's common among people who feel overworked, overwhelmed, or emotionally trapped in daily routines. Even though they know they'll be tired tomorrow, they stay up because that's the only part of the day that feels theirs. It's a subtle rebellion, a way of saying, I may have no control over my day, but the night is mine. In those hours, you're no longer a worker, a student, or a parent. You're just you. There's another reason late nights feel so emotionally charged. During the day, the amygdala, your brain's emotional center, constantly fires from stress, noise, and social interaction. But your prefrontal cortex keeps it in check. It filters your emotions so you can function. At night, as mental fatigue sets in and the outside world fades away, that filter weakens. Your thoughts become louder, your emotions stronger, your memories more vivid. The brain begins to process what it didn't have time for earlier: regret, nostalgia, dreams, pain. This is why conversations at 2 a.m. feel more real, why you remember things you thought you'd forgotten, and why the night can feel both deeply creative and deeply lonely at the same time. Here's where psychology meets habit. Every time you scroll social media, play a game, or watch another video, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. It rewards you for seeking stimulation. But dopamine also suppresses melatonin and keeps you alert, tricking your brain into thinking you're not tired. So even though your body is exhausted, your mind says, just one more video. And when you finally try to sleep, your dopamine levels are still high, making it harder to wind down. This is how the dopamine loop forms. You stay up late for pleasure or stimulation. The stimulation delays sleep chemicals. The next day, you're tired, which makes your brain crave more dopamine at night for relief. And the cycle repeats. It's not laziness, it's neurochemistry. Let's step back for a second. Why would evolution design some people to be alert at night in the first place? Anthropologists have a theory. In ancient tribes, humans survived by having people awake at different times. Some would rise early to gather food. Others would stay up late, guarding the fire and protecting the group from predators. This pattern, called the sentinel hypothesis, suggests night owls once served a vital role. Their brains evolved to stay vigilant when others slept. So when you find yourself alert in the middle of the night, it may not be dysfunction, it may be ancestral instinct. The night owl mind may simply be a relic of human survival, a built-in system meant to protect the tribe while everyone else rested. Psychologists have found consistent traits among night-oriented individuals. Night owls tend to score higher in openness to experience, curiosity, imagination, creativity, introversion and introspection, comfort with solitude and deep thought, nonconformity. They dislike rigid routines and social expectations. However, they also score slightly higher in the impulsivity, acting on emotion rather than logic. Mood fluctuations, higher sensitivity to stress or sadness. This dual nature, creative but restless, independent but emotional, is what gives the night owl their unique psychological signature. They're thinkers, artists, observers, people who find meaning in stillness. Here's where it becomes a modern conflict. Society runs on the early bird schedule, 9 to 5 jobs, early school hours, morning meetings. But for night owls, this structure goes directly against their biology. They're forced to wake up before their body and brain are ready, creating a phenomenon known as social jet lag. It's like living in a different time zone from the rest of the world. And it's exhausting. Studies show that chronic social jet lag increases stress, decreases focus, and even affects metabolism. It can lead to fatigue, irritability, and a constant sense of being out of sync. The world rewards early risers, but the night owl's rhythm just doesn't fit. Many night owls try to force themselves into an early schedule, waking up with alarms, drinking coffee, fighting their body's signals. But when they do, their sleep drive and hormonal rhythm often clash. Their body might produce melatonin at 1 a.m., while their alarm rings at 7 a.m. That mismatch leads to chronic tiredness and brain fog. It's like forcing a phone to operate on 10% battery all day. What helps more than forcing a new sleep schedule is gradual alignment, dimming lights earlier to cue melatonin, avoiding dopamine-heavy activities like scrolling before bed, creating relaxing, predictable night routines that teach the brain to wind down earlier. Because sleep timing isn't a matter of willpower, it's a matter of rhythm. Let's end with something deeper. For many people, staying up late isn't about screens or boredom. It's about connection. The night becomes a safe place for emotion. When the noise fades, you can finally listen to your thoughts, your memories, your pain, your dreams. The silence gives you permission to think, to create, to feel. That's why so many writers, artists, and thinkers are drawn to the night. It's not just quiet, it's truthful. It's when the mask comes off. So maybe staying up late isn't only a bad habit. Maybe it's the brain's way of saying, you haven't had time to be yourself today. So, if you're someone who always stays up late, don't rush to shame yourself for it. You're not broken. You're not lazy. Your brain simply dances to a different rhythm, one that's quieter, deeper, and maybe a little more mysterious. Just remember to protect it. Use the night to reflect, not escape. Create, don't consume. Rest when your mind finally allows it. Because sometimes the night owl's mind isn't restless. It's just awake to things most people never stop to notice. If you like this content and want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe so more people can see this. Also, comment down below. Are you a morning bird or a night owl?